Well, hello, class. I'm Professor Cox, as you know. I want to help you out a little bit on this week's lesson. Stress is a very important thing in all of our lives. And a lot of you are, for the first time, taking a college course, and I'm sure you have a lot of stress. It's going to be that way all through your academic career. In the discussion that we're talking about this week, we're trying to help Angela figure out how to take care of her stress. And I want to tell you a few things that I would like for you to look at that will help you better understand not only Angela's problem, but will help you understand how you can cope with stress too. You see, stress comes from how we appraise events. Now, we've got to look at how does Angela appraise the events in her life. I mean, after all, she's looking at family. She's looking at her boss, the problems she's having with her boss. She's looking at the problems with no respect from her coworkers. And I would imagine that she probably has some other stressors on top of all of that. It's like a domino effect. It keeps building and building and building. That's the way stress goes. Now, often when we're considering stress, when we're looking at our stressors, a lot of people will oftentimes look at the past, or they may look at the future when they're really trying to appraise or learning how to take care of the present. What's happening now? Sure, the past and the future have things to do with it, but to handle stress, you've got to look at what's happening now. Now, Angela needs to look at three things. First, she has to look at those things which she can control her first, or can control herself. Okay, controlled by self. Second, she's got to look at those things which can be controlled by others. Okay, and thirdly, she's got to look at the things that can't be controlled by anyone, because one of those three, controlled by self, controlled by others, or not controlled by anyone, determines how she will be able to learn to cope with stressors. Now, in your answering your discussion this week, some of you have already started and you're doing a fine job. Now, I want you to be sure to read your text. Listen to what the lectures are saying. It's crucial in this particular discussion. Angela needs to think critically. You need to think critically in this particular one too. Think of it this way. Each of us look at life in two different ways. We have what's called in psychology an external locus of control. Now that means that we have a perception that no matter what happens, everything is controlled by somebody else. We have nothing to do with it. Our fate is determined outside of ourselves. We have nothing to do with it. Then there is such a thing as an internal locus of control. Now this is a perception that we control our fate ourselves. Angela has got to look at how she feels about this. Does she have an internal locus of control, or does she have an external locus of control? When we think of this, we normally think of people who are optimists and people who are pessimists. People who are optimists usually have a positive outlook on life, and people who are pessimists usually have a negative outlook on life. Usually those who are optimists have an internal locus of control, and those who are pessimists normally have an external locus of control. Think what Angela has. Try to put yourself in Angela's place, and you'll be able to figure out these problems that she's going through that the discussion is asking you to do. Now, let's go a little bit further. I want you to look at who controls Angela's life. Is Angela controlling her life? Is the job controlling her life? Is her family controlling her life? What is she letting control her life? And how is she thinking about that? This is where we get down into the real stress control. Now, there are ways to learn to cope with stress, or things that we can do. And I want you to think about these as you put down in the final paragraph of what you believe Angela might be able to do. Here are just some suggestions. We know right off the bat that she has got to boost her own self-control. Angela, right now, I would imagine, has very little self-control over her life. She probably feels like it's all falling apart. Number one, she's having trouble with her boss. Number two, she's having no respect from the people she works who work for her. And number three, she's bringing it all home, and it's taking it out. She's taking it out on her family as well. So we've got to consider, maybe she needs some social support, you suppose? Maybe she needs to find some meaning in what she's doing. I mean, after all, she's not only working, she's going to school, she's got a family. Maybe she needs to look at where the meaning is in there. Look at where the different plateaus of where the importance she's putting on things in her life. Exercise never hurts. Relaxation and meditation never hurts. She's got to learn to reflect on the things that are happening in her life, and she may have to learn to accept some things as they are and learn to go from that point on. And finally, her faith and her health. You might want to consider those things as well. So when you're answering this discussion this week, put yourself in Angela's shoes. Look at Angela's life, from using your own eyes. Be empathetic is what I'm trying to say. Think about yourself in Angela's shoes, because a lot of you I know are. A lot of you are working, trying to go to school, having all kinds of scheduling problems you've told me about. Think of how you can handle the stress in your life by doing some of the things that I've told you about. And look at chapter 8 in your text. Pay close attention to that chapter, and you'll learn a lot more about it. Now, let's go ahead. Be sure you use APA style in your writing. Now, what that means is simply go to your resources, which is a section right above your week 1, and it will show you how to write APA style. It's very easy, really. Look at the templates that they have. Everything is there for you. And if you have trouble, let me know. Give me a call. I'd love to hear from you. I really do. My number is 304-483-7899, and I welcome your calls. You can call me anytime you want. It makes no difference to me. I love to help. I love to help you. Your success in this class is my main concern. I want you to pass it. I want you to really learn in this class because it's important. Your first class in college is very, very important because it sets the tone for the rest of your academic career. Now let's get busy and take care of this week 4 discussion, and I look forward to seeing what you have to write. Thank you very much.